We're all waiting.
Ready to roll?
6:30.
Okay.
We're all checking.
Thank you for your support. At this time, I'd like to open the Administrative Services Committee meeting for Monday, November 20th, 2017 at 6:30. Please call the roll.
Counselor Corradino.
Here.
Counselor Van Buren.
Here.
Counselor Reynolds. Here. Counselor Walker. Absent. Counselor Emmons.
Here.
A motion to approve the minutes of the November 6th, 2017 committee meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Is there any old business for this committee? Seeing none, let's move on to new business under authorization. Item number 1. Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. is proposing implementing a local law allowing the City of Oswego to establish a sustainable energy loan program to make financing available to qualified property owners that will be repaid by such property owners through charges on real properties benefited by such funds. Mayor?
Thank you, Chairman. This is, I believe I left in each of your mailboxes the fact sheet of just some frequently asked questions, which gives kind of the basic summary of what the program is. Where this really stems from is we won the DRI, as you know, and there's a push in New York State for these what they're calling complete communities. So they're communities that are clean energy communities, climate smart communities, age-friendly communities, and in order to be, quote, a complete community, you have to meet the criteria in all three of those programs to actually get that designation. This legislation is part of the designation required to become a clean energy community, which is the designation I'd like to work towards first. And what this does, other than just having a municipality become committed to doing some of these clean energy initiatives, is it makes us more competitive in grant applications as well. So that's really the ultimate positive piece of this whole thing. What this legislation does is simply establishes the City of Oswego and allows the businesses and commercial properties in the City of Oswego to participate in a program for energy loans. So what this local law does is establishes a sustainable energy loan in the City of Oswego, but we don't actually administer that loan. What this legislation does is just allows the city to put a charge on the tax bill that the business always pays, or property owner, I should say, pays regularly. The only difference is the city, under this local law, is authorized to put an additional charge on their bill. And what that charge does is if the business, and it's totally 100% voluntary, if the business wants to do clean energy initiatives, if they want to install solar panels, if they want to do LED lighting, if they want to do HVAC efficiency improvements, they can partner with the Energy Improvement Corporation, which is a local development company established by New York State. And when they go to fund these green energy projects, they can go to what they call, that's the EIC, Energy Improvement Corporation, and rather than pay that significant cost up front, they partner with this corporation from the state to pay the money back. It's a loan, and they pay it back when they pay their taxes, and that's what the additional charge is. The only thing the city does, and what this local law does, is authorizes the city to put that charge on the tax bill. We collect the money that is that charge, and we just have to transfer it to the EIC. I already explained kind of how that works. So like I said, totally voluntary, and it's only commercial businesses. It can apply. We're actually waiting for clarification, but we believe it can apply for multifamily homes, but we're still waiting for that clarification. And that's really all this is.
All right, Mayor, thank you. Any questions? Mayor? Any questions at all? I did have one question for you, if you don't mind. By the way, thank you for all the backup information about frequently asked questions. That was very helpful in understanding this complicated program. But I did have a question as far as under on page, it doesn't matter. It's item 110-11, verification and report. Item B, I'll just read it real quick. The City of Oswego shall verify and report on the installation and performance of renewable energy systems and energy efficiency improvements financed by the Energize New York Benefit Financing Program in such form and manner as the authority may establish. So basically, my question is, they're asking us, the city, to verify. Will we need to hire anybody, do you think?
No, it's generally the work involves part of our code inspections and work anyway. And quite frankly, through talking with, I met with a person from the state that's involved in the clean energy community initiatives, and his message was, business owners that are going to participate in this are usually, stable, committed, reputable business owners, and they have very little experience or virtually no experience of business owners not paying their portion of the loan or going delinquent on their taxes, and also generally straightforward with this sort of improvements. But most of the projects that you would see a business take advantage of would require our code department in some way, shape, or form anyway.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Councilor.
Just one brief question. I think it's a fantastic step forward. Is this a new program, or is this a current program? Are there other cities doing this in the state? What was your...
I know that actually I was hoping to be the first complete city, but Ithaca already is, so that was kind of unfortunate. But so obviously they're a clean energy community, but this program's been around for quite a couple of years, right? A couple of years, and I guess I'm not sure how many municipalities actually participate, but it's it's just an initiative being pushed by the state, and how we came into the fold is we were a DRI community, so I guess this is where, congratulations, you won. Now, can you do some of this stuff that we'd like to see happen? So.
Very good. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Councilor Corradino.
Yes.
Councilor Van Buren.
Yes.
Councilor Reynolds.
Yes.
Councilor Emmons.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
Project. Madam Clerk. Item number 2, Nancy Sterial, Personnel Director, requests authorization for Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. to sign an agreement with Oswego County for weights and measures services as the current agreement expires December 31st, 2017. Nancy?
Thank you, Counselor. This is an annual agreement that we have. We are required to have weights and measures, which basically checks gas pumps, those kinds of things, to make sure the scales in grocery stores and things like that are weighing properly. By having this agreement with the county, we are saving fringe benefits and all of that if we employed our own person. So I'm hoping next year to start negotiations with them sooner and maybe get them to agree to a 2 or 3 year deal going forward. But the last couple of years I tried it and they said no, they only wanted to do a 1 year deal. So here we are, but it's still at a great savings.
Questions, comments for Nancy? I did have one question. It did say in it, I read the agreement, and I didn't see on any attachments or anything. Was there an increase in this contract?
No, it's identical to last year's. Yep, it's just the term is changing from January 1, 2018 to December 31st, 2017. No increase.
And that's what I like to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Make a
Comments?
motion.
Oh, I thought Ben has anything.
Okay. Second.
Councilor Corradino.
Yes.
Councilor Van Buren.
Yes.
Councilor Reynolds.
Yes.
Councilor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 3, Nancy Sterial, Personnel Director, requests authorization for Mayor William J. Barlow, Jr. to sign a renewal agreement for legal services for labor relations with Romer, Wallens, Gold, and Minix, LLP, for a 3-year period from February 21st, 2018 through January 31st, 2021. Nancy, one more time.
We've had a long-standing relationship with the labor relations firm of Romer, Wallens, Gold, and Minot. They have agreed to hold the line for 18 through 19, and then they're asking for $100 a month increase increase for the following 2 years, each year. They're increasing it. I have worked with them for the last 15 years, and they've done some great things and helped immensely in our negotiations and in our labor relations in the city.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Second. Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Thank you, Nancy. Item number 4, the Engineer's Office requests approval of change order number 1 for the general contract with John R. Dudley Construction Incorporated for the Eastside Wastewater Treatment Plant Dewatering Equipment Replacement Project in the amount of $0 for additional work. Mr. Johnson, would you like to expand on this?
This software driver was left out of the contract. It needs to be a part of the system, and so we need to add that. And funded through the miscellaneous work account.
So basically, from what I read, when I buy a new printer for my computer, I have to get a driver to have it communicate with the computer. This is a software driver for this information.
Yeah.
It was inadvertently omitted from the original bid.
Yes.
Any comments? Concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Second.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 5, the wastewater department is requesting sole procurement of various polymers for sludge treatment at both wastewater facilities. The wastewater department is requesting permission to issue blanket POs to Slack Chemical Incorporated and Clean Water Solinus to utilize their proprietary products as needed based on quality results given, environmental changes, and the effectiveness of the product. There is money budgeted for this in the G8140 and G8130.0410 account. I believe Dan is here to speak to it.
Hi. Yeah, these chemicals are used every day, regularly. At times a year, they change properties based on what we're processing, and we need to be able to purchase these regularly, and the process of trying to bid these gets very complicated. That's why we're asking for the sole procurement. The idea of a blanket PO is not part of this proposal and needs to be amended. We will not be issuing blanket POs for these right now. That would start with next year's budget.
Questions? I think Chamberlain Code would like to add something to this.
Thank you, Counselor. If you look at the resolution itself, there is a typo on the resolution. When I reviewed it, when I received it from the department, you'll see that the resolution that will be coming before you on Monday night will read, the accounts will read G8140-0410 and G8130-0410.
So noted. Any other questions, concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yeah.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Item number 6, City of Oswego Rental Assistance Program requests a public hearing to discuss Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Administrative Plan Update and Revision. Mr. Mayor?
If you remember back to my State of the City address earlier this year, we talked about some reforms we would like to make to the City HUD program. So finally, after working with Justin throughout the year, we're ready to propose some of those to the Common Council. We focused on 3 things earlier this year. One we've actually have already started doing, and it was one of the proposals I had before, and that was to just take the HUD housing quality standards and bring them up to be as strong and stiff as the city code. So believe it or not, if you were, before this, if you were enrolled, if you were a landlord and you were renting to somebody on the city Section 8 HUD housing program, your property, number one, didn't need an Oswego City rental permit. Number two, didn't need to meet the criteria laid out in the city code. It simply had to meet the minimum housing standards set forth by HUD, which were much weaker than our city code. You know, my argument is that the city code, we're not asking property owners to go above and beyond, you know, and provide everybody with excellent housing. It's a pretty reasonable code, in my opinion. So to think that a landlord in the city of Oswego could accept payment through a city-run Section 8 HUD program was just not comfortable and didn't make any sense to me. So, and in my opinion, not only are we helping with the quality and integrity of our neighborhoods, but we're sticking up for the tenant as well. You know, a lot of the situations that some of these folks rent or live in, whether they're HUD or not, you know, I think we've all been on code code complaints and code runs, and to see some of the situations we've seen, you know, you try to explain it to somebody out on the street and they just they don't believe it, and we've all seen it. So I think this is really sticking up for tenants' rights. It's making sure that a landlord who is guaranteed that HUD voucher, that HUD payment, is meeting the obligation that they said they would meet when they signed up to be a landlord participating in the city HUD program. So that's what, and we're already doing that. Quite frankly, we're making sure that that they do meet the city code. As you all already know, we already took the last year the HUD inspector was part-time. We've made that a full-time position. We got a new inspector. He's doing a phenomenal job, a lot better than it was last year. So we're already seeing improvement on that, and we've also synced up the HUD office with our code office. Believe it or not, the HUD office, if you're a landlord, you are subject to an inspection because you have a HUD voucher allocated to your property. You're subject to an inspection once a year. So putting the HUD office in sync and communicating with our code office has allowed our code office to inspect these properties too. And if there is a major issue in these HUD units, they tell the code office. Believe it or not, before we synced up these offices, that never ever happened, which is really remarkable if you think about it. And that's how we have found a lot of the issues we've uncovered. So again, it's better for the tenant, holding the landlord more accountable. They're guaranteed that voucher, and the least they can do is fulfill their obligation that they have. The second part was executing a MOU with trying to encourage workforce development and really tweaking our HUD admin plan to be more of a hand up rather than a handout. So I don't think, including those who participate and are on the program, I don't think anybody walks into the HUD office just looking for a handout. I think generally they want to work, they want to look for a job, find a job, and they want to elevate themselves. So we've thought about how we could design the HUD program to help them elevate themselves. So we tied in this workforce development component, and that involves signing a memorandum of understanding with the Workforce Development Board Incorporated of Oswego County. The MOU was already reviewed and approved by the New York State Department of Labor, the New York State Education Department, and the New York State Commission for the Blind. And the MOU simply outlines the way the partners will work collaboratively together with the Oswego County Workforce Development Program and our HUD program. The agencies involved in this MOU, I'll just list them quick: Oswego County Workforce Development, Oswego County itself, Oswego County DSS One Stop, the Job Corps, Youth Build, Adult Education Program and Policy that's tied in with the New York State Education Department, Senior Community Service Employment Program, and the Career and Technical Education Programs. So that's already a partnership, so where if somebody comes to our HUD office or they are on our HUD plan, we can refer them to these agencies to go get help for things like a job search, interview preparation, workplace etiquette, once you're hired, how do you survive the workplace and how to deal with all those things. So I think that's another resource that folks on our HUD program will now have available to them, and we're going to obviously encourage them to take advantage of such a resource that they now have. And the last thing is, and that's really why this had to come to a public hearing, is the City of Oswego has a HUD administrative plan that we are obviously in charge of administering. In that plan, it's a ranking system. So if somebody comes up and explains their situation to our HUD office, they are given a ranking, and that really determines how quickly or not so quickly they're placed onto the program when a voucher becomes available. So we're just going to tweak that ranking system to really reflect our desire to make it a more hand-up, not a handout program. So as the ranking exists now, it goes 0 through 4. 0, families interested in participating on the project-based voucher program. That's really not applicable to the city because we don't have any vouchers that are in a project-based voucher program. What that would be is like if the city, if a development like Hamilton Homes popped up new, and we wanted to use 40 vouchers for that program, that would be separate, and it's called a project-based voucher program. So really, you can kind of disregard that for now. Number 1 is disabled families not classified as elderly who live or work in the city of Oswego or county of Oswego. Number 2, and 1 is the highest, 4 is the lowest. Elderly families and families with children who live or work in the city of Oswego, county of Oswego. Number 3, single healthy adults who live or work in the city of Oswego, county of Oswego. And 4 is non-residents. So it's pretty broad, pretty vague. Not a whole lot of control, and there's really, there's not a lot of criteria to begin with. The proposal that I would ask the council to consider would have designations from 0 through 7. 0 and 1 involve the project-based voucher program, which we don't currently have, so we can kind of disregard those. So I would start with number 2, disabled families not classified as elderly who live in the city of Oswego, and veterans and disabled veterans. They would be the highest. So if they come up, they want the HUD program, they would rank higher than others. Next, multi-person families and elderly not disabled who live in the city of Oswego. All families must have a head of the household or their spouse working at least 20 hours per week, or is enrolled in at least 6 credit hours, or is enrolled in vocational training program. Next is multi-person families who live, next is single healthy adults who live in the city of Oswego and work at least 20 hours per week, or are enrolled in at least 6 credit hours, or is enrolled in a vocational training program. Next, multi-person families who live in the city of Oswego, not working or enrolled in education. Next would be single healthy adults who live in the city of Oswego, not working or enrolled in education. And last, non-residents. So that's some of the difference, and I can provide this in writing if it's easier over the week for you to review. So I'm just asking to set that public hearing to make those adjustments to our Section 8 administrative plan.
Any questions? Anything else? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Counselor Corradino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds.
Yes.
Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 7. Longwood. Wastewater Department is experiencing a shortage of funds in both east and west equipment and contracted services accounts. Therefore, they are requesting transfer of funds. $20,000 from G.8130.0410 supplies and materials to G.8130.0440 contracted services east side. $20,000 from G.130.0410 supplies and materials to G.8130.0200 equipment east side. $20,000 from G.814.0410 supplies and materials to G.8140.0200 equipment west side. $10,000 from G.8140.0410 supplies and materials to G.8140.0440 contracted services west side. $1,100 from G.8140.0480 clothing and boots to G.8130.0200 equipment, And finally, $725 from G.8140.0450 physicals to G.8130.0200 equipment. Requested transfers are in anticipation of charges for the Print Incorporated and GHD Engineering Services to repair issues with the centrifuges and the PLCs at the east side, a VFD for the east pump station and stormwater pumps, support piping, rail system at the west side. Is there anybody here that would like to add to that long description?
I mean, mostly it is. We've spent money fixing very antiquated computer systems, and those funds were not anticipated during the 2016 budget process, and now we're at the end of the year shuffling funds around to cover those expenses. That's the easiest explanation. And I'm here to answer any questions about details or anything else.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council on these items? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds. Yes. Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
Item number 8, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requests discussion regarding implementing fee regarding bacterial plate count and water treatment.
So,
Once again, Dan.
I'm also here as the lab director for the water plant. We do a lot of contracted services at the water plant for standard plate count, especially from distribution system samples as well as walk-ins. We're charging $5 per, and it's really not covering the expenses of all the materials, the labor, and so we're looking to discuss the implementation of a fee to cover the actual costs of doing the tests.
That's a good description. Are there any questions or comments? Can I just ask one question? When you said walk-ins, give me an example of a walk-in that would come to...
Somebody testing a well, and there's no chlorine in it. Anytime there's not enough chlorine in a water sample that comes in, we have to do a standard plate count, along with what we call a Collisher test that looks for fecal coliform bacteria. And so it's our requirement to do those testings, and we provide that service.
Just for the interest of everybody else, I don't think they have it on the screen. You're proposing that the fee go to $25 per plate.
Right.
And we give the Oswego County Health Department a discount of $15.
Correct. That's what's been proposed.
Oh, I think we have a question in the back row.
I need to break the ice here. Is there wells in the city?
No, but we serve out the town of Oswego and Scriba and the county as well. So it's a service that we provide.
Make sure you get it.
Okay. I think that's up to the folks in front here.
$100 per person.
Any other questions? Yes, I see one in the front row here.
I wonder if the county also, the health department, tests wells and what they charge and if it should be in line.
I don't know. They bring their samples to us.
Then I ask the answer.
That was in there. That's $15 for the county health department.
If the county's doing too, by the way, the hotel tax, whatever else they people, another rock, sales tax.
I think we're done, Dan. With you. Any other questions or comments for Dan?
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Second. Counselor Coordino.
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren.
Yeah.
Counselor Reynolds. Yes. Counselor Emmons.
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
Resolution. Dan, can you ask your boss for a resolution on this?
Pardon me?
Can you ask your boss for a resolution on this?
Yes.
Thank you. And that's item 8. Item 9 is under executive session. Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. requested an executive session regarding the medical, financial, or credit or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation in particular, wastewater treatment agenda agreement for Novelis. Did we want to postpone this one? Call a recess? Okay. I have a motion to call a recess.
Second.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
All right, we will address that at the end. I believe that's all under the Administrative Services Committee, unless there's somebody else to add anything they wanted to bring up. Okay. This meeting is temporarily adjourned. Recessed.
Time to call Fiscal Services Committee meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Van Buren? Here. Counselor Emmons?
Here.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Here.
Counselor Gozick?
Here.
Need a motion to approve minutes from November 6th, 2017 meeting.
Make a motion.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Any old business to come before this committee? Seeing none, moving on to new business. Item number 1, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. received a request from Alan Clark regarding the Hearts on the Bridge project in February. The 10 hearts with LED lighting. Alan is requesting the DPW place the Hearts on the Bridge Street Bridge on February 1st, 2018, and have the hearts removed February 28th, 2018. Any questions about this one?
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick? And we need a resolution.
Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
This time I'd like to call the Planning and Development Committee meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Counselor Emmons?
Here.
Counselor Gozick?
Here.
Counselor Cordino?
Need a motion to approve the minutes of the September 5th, 2017 committee meeting?
Motion.
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Item number 1, old business. Any old business to come before this committee? Item number 2, under new business. Number 1, Mayor William J. Barlow Jr. states Resolution 436-2013 was passed on October 15, 2013 to approve and adopt the New York State Unified Solar Panel application. Mayor Barlow is requesting we adopt a new resolution that approves the modified New York State Unified Solar Panel application in our attachment. Mayor?
This just stems back to the PACE legislation we did at the last committee. During those discussions, the city in 2013 already passed a resolution to adopt the New York State Unified Solar Panel application. However, that application has since been edited by the state. So rather than having it be 12 kilowatts or less, in order for it to be valid in the eyes of New York State, it needs to read 25 kilowatts or less. That's it. So we just need to make that edit, and we're on our way.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the Mayor?
One last thing. I see at the end of the resolution, it does state that should the New York State Unified Solar Panel application be modified in the future, such amendments shall hereby be approved and accepted unless otherwise stated. So does that mean if they change, like they're changing a kilowatt, does it still have to go through this committee, or is it automatically approved?
That language means that if the state changes the number again, kilowatts, then the city can just change our form.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Second?
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick? Yes. Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
And we need a resolution.
Yes, the Mayor's office will do that. Any other items before this committee? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Counselor Gozick?
Yes.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes. Okay. This time I'd like to reconvene the Administrative Services Committee meeting and go into executive session. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Counselor Cordino?
Yes.
Counselor Van Buren?
Yes.
Counselor Reynolds? Counselor Emmons?
Yes.
Okay, Senator. Counselor Corodino. Counselor Van Buren. Counselor Reynolds. Counselor Emmons. Counselor Corodino. Counselor Van Buren. Counselor Reynolds. Counselor Emmons.